Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome to our 193rd episode. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow us on the gram at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that all of our episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV. And of course, you can always find us directly on our YouTube channel at Zen Sams. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, tonight, we're featuring the only entertainer who can whip up a delicious dish while mixing beats, taking dinner and a show to a whole new level. He's known as the chef that rocks. DJ Chef has cooked for celebrities, rocked high-profile parties, and even earned a spot on the Food Network as a Cutthroat Kitchen Champion. He's going to join me today to chat food, social activism, and music, and how he's established an incredible career for himself. In the Express Beautiful segment, our contributor, Sari Katz, celebrity injector and founder of Skin by Sari, chats about the FDA approval for neck Botox. In the Polished Beauty segment, joined by contributor Dr. Daisy Ayim, she's a triple board certified OBGYN gynecologist and founder of the Polished Beauty podcast. We're going to be interviewing guest Joey Thurman. He's an acclaimed health, fitness, and nutrition expert. He's a TV personality and the best-selling author of The Minimum Method, The Least You Can Do to Be a Stronger, Healthier, Happier You. He's going to join us to help us close 2024 strong and set a clear roadmap for 2025. In the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, in our Expert on the Microphone series, today we're featuring Dr. Rod Roerick. He's an internationally known, highly respected and skilled plastic surgeon with a global clinical practice at Dallas Plastic Surgery Institute in Texas. Newsweek named him the best plastic surgeon in the U.S. for both rhinoplasty and facelifts 4 consecutive years in a row. He's going to join me tonight to discuss the latest in rhinoplasty and facelift techniques and how CO2 Lift is improving procedure results and speeding up the healing process. Stay tuned for Once Upon a Coconut's Hydration with Heart segment featuring DJ Chef coming up next. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back to A Moment of Zen here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. This is your host, Zen Sams, live from iHeart headquarters in the Hydration with Heart segment, proudly brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, the refreshing drink that keeps you hydrated through every unforgettable moment. Today we have a guest who is redefining the meaning of multitasking in the entertainment world. He's the only entertainer who can whip up a delicious dish while mixing beats, taking dinner and a show to a whole new level. He's known as the chef that rocks. DJ Chef has cooked for celebrities, rocked high-profile parties, and even earned a spot on the Food Network as a Cutthroat Kitchen Champion. Not only does he bring a unique energy to his events, but he's also pushing boundaries with his blend of music, food, and social impact. Welcoming now to the show is DJ Chef. Welcome, superstar.
What's cooking? Thanks for having me, Zen.
So excited to have you here at headquarters. So you're like the ultimate party mix, a dash of beats, a sprinkle of flavor, and a whole lot of charisma. So let's start with what I think a lot of us are curious about. Blending cooking and DJing is, well, let's say unconventional. Most people pick one lane and stick with it, but you went full speed into 2, and somehow it just works. When did it click for you that combining these 2 worlds was going to be your signature style?
I'll give you the short version. I started as a DJ, say junior high, so doing our little house parties and, ultimately, being the DJ in town. And then I got a job with a caterer just for like a few extra bucks, during the week. And, I actually became a good cook. And this poor owner was trying to like direct me, give me a little direction. And she kept suggesting I go to culinary school, I can get a career for myself. And, after her year or so saying this, I just showed up at New York Restaurant School right here at 34th Street, enrolled. I got a job right off of the bat at Time Cafe, which I didn't realize was such a hot spot at the time. They hired me on the spot. And, I worked in Manhattan for a number of years. I was a sous chef for Bobby Flay. I worked at Matthews on 3rd Avenue, a couple other venues. And, the restaurant business kind of burned me out. So I got a job as a corporate chef, which I didn't know there was such a thing. It was like Monday to Friday, and you had the weekends free. So one of the executives, asked me to do a dinner party on the weekend, and I was like, all right, I got like, inspired again, and I came with my knives, my menu, and I started doing these dinner parties, and it just took off. So, after a period of time, I was doing them, I just thought, they need a little more energy to these parties.
Let me add music.
Yeah, I missed the DJing a little bit, and I don't know, I just thought it would be perfect. So I created a little website, DJ Chef, a cooking party, food, music. So I just started DJing while I was doing these dinner parties, and boom, that really went to the next level.
So how long have you been doing this for now?
I keep saying 10 plus years, but
oh boy,
yeah, it's been about
I hear you.
Yeah,
so,
the time passes.
So you're not just creating meals; you're curating experiences.
Yeah.
So what's the secret sauce to keeping such a diverse crowd engaged and entertained?
Yeah, so I have a format. I do a lot of in-home parties. That was where it was developed. But then I changed the format for like large-scale events where I DJ like a normal DJ would DJ, but I'm also like serving up a little tasting. So that's the format that I did at like Christy Brinkley's event. A lot of these events in the Hamptons, and it's about creating an experience. Just the food, the music. And you just have the whole vibe together. So it just comes naturally to me.
So let's talk about some of these career highlights. So
yeah.
Food Network champion, events all over the world, TV appearances, but I want to zoom in on something deeper. For some entertainers, it's about the applause or the fame, but for you, though, it seems like you're about making genuine connections with people through food and music, which I love. So how has your journey in culinary entertainment shaped the way that you see the impact of your work on people?
Well, you really hit the nail on the head. It's about, people say, how do you do like 7 events in a week? It's never mundane to me. I get there, I get the music going, I'm cooking, I may be a little tired, but boom, I get the energy from the people. Like for the people, they're vibing, they're having fun at the experience. And I don't know, I just get the energy from them, if you could understand that. So
I do.
Yeah. So
they feed your soul.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to hit all the senses, you got the music, the food, the smell, the vibe. I have lighting. As soon as I come in, I adjust the lighting.
And laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah, people having a good time.
And you've done such a great job, and it's no easy feat when you have that many people in a room trying to please everyone. But you even go a bit deeper. You've supported causes like the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women, and even participated in celebrity charity events that you continue to do so. I actually met you at the Encourage Kids Foundation at Current not long ago. So blending your passion with activism is an interesting twist that I think resonates deeply with people that follow you. So how do you approach this balance between your career and giving back?
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're younger, it's all about you and your brand, especially now with social media, everybody's branding themselves, but you can't just always take. The real magic happens when you give back. And, after a while, if you're not there yet, you'll get it. I just right off of the bat, I've always supported my local town causes and stuff. Some tragic happen. I mean, I come from Long Beach. We had the big disaster with Hurricane Sandy. And boom, I was right there with this big benefit concert, and just Marty Lyons Foundation. Victor Green Foundation, 2 former Jets that I created a relationship with just from doing their events over the years. Marty Lyons, I think I was with 10 years now. American Heart Association, Go Red for Women, I've been doing that for about 10 years or so. I mean, and all the food events that, we do over the
That's
years
a lot
too.
of giving back. And not to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
you've got a Hall of Fame title from the New York Restaurant School, and I know, and I know that you've taken every step in stride, and you count your blessings just from your acumen and the way that you carry yourself. I mean, you are a very humble individual. It's clear you're always leveling up, pushing your brand, and even reaching new audiences. But with so much ground covered, what's next for you? I mean, are you eyeing any new heights, or maybe even more unique collaborations? What does the future hold?
Yeah, every year around this time of the year, it's the holidays, the New Year's coming. It's always, always trying to, okay, what can I, upgrade? What, I'm updating the website, the basic things. But yeah, but looking long term, beyond just the new year. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking into other markets. Florida is always on my mind. People are like, why aren't you doing this in Florida year round? I mean, the weather's nice. You could be doing, triple the amount of events. So, that's a goal of mine to, branch out into Florida or maybe another market.
I love it.
I'm signed with a production company, for my own TV show. So that's on the, on the burners as well. And
You got a lot going on.
yeah, a cookbook is something I want to, I've been putting off as well, with something that, I'm looking forward to doing, as well as like
reality
products.
TV show.
Yeah,
work
it
for a
all kind of goes
production
hand in
company.
hand,
Look at
when
you.
you're a chef,
So you've talked about how you bring people together with music and food, but every great artist has that unforgettable oh no moment, something that went hilariously off script. Have you had a moment at an event where things were totally off the rails? And how did you bring the house back together?
Well, I do bachelorette parties in the Hamptons, right?
Oh no, I can't wait to hear this.
I mean, I don't really like to throw clients under the bus or anything, but I mean, there's different situations that come up, but there's some things that and you just kind of go with the flow. But there's like some things that you really can't control, like weather and stuff. Over the past couple of years, some of the weather situations were crazy. There was a tornado that hit the Hamptons. I think it was 2 years ago, and where I was, I think it was in Sag Harbor. There was really just one road to get to this particular house. It was an Airbnb. Boom. A tree comes down. I mean, it's like a big tree, and it's right in the middle of the street. The rain starts coming down. So I'm like, now what are we going to do? I literally had 15 minutes to be on time for this event. So a guy stops. He has a big rope. He's trying to pull this thing with a rope with his car. Boom, the rope snaps. Then all of a sudden I hear, wah, wah. This guy comes with a chainsaw. I guess people drive around with chainsaws in their trucks out there. Wah, wah. He starts chopping at this tree. And then boom, wah, wah. I hear another chainsaw. So we got two guys with chainsaws. Hey, they got the tree down. Boom, I got to the party right on time. And that was definitely a memorable
Oh yeah,
time to
that
have to get through.
definitely.
And then I was out there
anxiety
for a
moment.
hurricane. So I had 4 events that day. So the hurricane was going to be the worst on Sunday. So I called the Sunday party. I said, you guys are out here, right? I said, do you want to do the party tonight? I could squeeze you in after my last one. And they were like, yeah. So I moved that Sunday party to Saturday on the spot. I went to the supermarket. I bought all the extra ingredients I needed. And boom, we did all the events before the hurricane hit and got out of there.
Look at you, jack of all trades, keeping it rolling. Now we just have about a minute left, but
Okay.
with all the energy you put into your performances, staying hydrated must be essential.
Yes.
So do you use coconut water as part of your routine or even in your cooking? And what benefits do you find it brings to your high energy lifestyle?
Yeah, when I head out on the road, especially on a long weekend, I have my little cooler of, I usually have like a coconut water, energy drink, and some iced teas that I drink. But yeah, I mean, coconut water definitely, is essential because it is staying hydrated. I'm performing back to back to back, and
You need those
I'm really on
electrolytes.
my diet game, on those weekends, Like also, like for my meals, I'll have like a protein shake and I'll put all my supplements in there. But as far as like in the middle of the events, you have to hydrate. The clean drinks are the way to go.
Yeah, this is no added sugar. Well, the chocolate has very, very little added sugar, but none of the other flavors have any added sugar. Just straight up coconut with the fruit. It's so hydrating. So I can't wait for you to try it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and being so transparent and inspirational. It was such a pleasure having you here, my friend.
Thanks, Zen. Anytime.
And that wraps up this edition of Hydration with Heart right here on A Moment of Zen at iHeart headquarters on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Thank you for sharing your story and showing us that with a little creativity, we can really have our beats and eat them too. And if you want to keep up with all the amazing events and entertainment DJ Chef brings, check out his website at djchef.com or follow him on social media on the gram at DJ Chef Rocks. And remember, there's no better way to stay hydrated while partying than with a refreshing sip of Once Upon a Coconut. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep the music and good vibes going. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Are you looking to build a new home? Think about building a barn-dominium. There's just something about getting away from it all. Country living, fresh air, and outdoor entertainment. Watch luxury barn-dominium tours on Your Home TV and let Stacy Lynn, the barn-dominium lady, take you on a journey through her barn-dominium designs.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Hi guys, Sari Katz here with this week's Express Beauty segment for A Moment of Zen. Great news, the FDA has recently approved a new indication for Botox cosmetic. That's right, in addition to the 3 areas traditionally approved, which includes the frown lines between the brows, the surprise lines at the top of the forehead, and the crow's feet around the sides of the eyes, we now have an off-the-face indication for neck bands. What are neck bands? Neck bands are those vertical lines that are created when we contract our neck muscle. This muscle is called the platysmal muscle, and it drapes from the lower face onto the neck, and when contracted gives a webbed-like appearance. When this muscle is treated with Botox cosmetic, it's relaxed and it smooths out the neck appearance as well as helps define the jawline. What's great about that is historically we've only really used interventions like surgical facelifts, including neck lifts to treat the lower face and neck, or more invasive cosmetic resurfacing lasers like CO2 laser to really address the crepiness of the neck. And we haven't really had a quick in-office procedure to help treat the aging appearance of the neck. Well, now we do. We have Botox cosmetic. It's done in the office. It takes about a few minutes, and then in 2 weeks, we have a smoother appearance. What can we ask for, right? I mean, now we can treat the face and the neck. And I will keep you updated with more down the pipeline for A Moment of Zen. This is Sari Katz with this week's Express Beauty segment.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Polished Beauty segment. Today, we're joined by my brilliant contributor, Dr. Daisy Ayim. She's a triple board certified OBGYN, gynecologist, and founder of the Polished Beauty Podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that's on everybody's mind as we close out the year, the ultimate gift you can give yourself: health, mental prosperity, and stability. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Joey Thurman, an acclaimed health, fitness, and nutrition expert, TV personality, and best-selling author of The Minimum Method, the least you can do to be a stronger, healthier, happier you. Joey is also the founder of the brand BigBabyStyle.com, where they make adult tees inspired by kids' clothing. With his expertise featured on Good Morning America, The Today Show, Sherry Shepherd, and Men's Health, and just so many more, Joey is here to help us close 2024 strong and set a clear roadmap for a healthier, more mindful 2025. We're going to discuss top health trends for the new year, biohacking methods you can do right from the comfort of your home, and staying centered during the holiday hustle. Let's jump right in. Welcoming now to the show are my dear friends, Dr. Daisy Ayim and Joey Thurman. Welcome, superstars.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, how are you, Daisy?
I'm great.
So, Joey, as the holidays approach, we've talked about this before on the show. Many of us feel just overwhelmed. We're juggling family gatherings, end of year deadlines, holiday shopping, all while trying to just prioritize health and well-being. And statistics show that 88% of people feel holiday stress, that stress directly impacts their health. And we have over 35% to admit skipping regular exercise during this time. Now, to start us off, can you share how the principles in your book help simplify health and fitness, particularly during this hectic holiday season?
Yeah, look, I mean, people always want to think about when they played high school football 30 years ago and go really hard at it. And they're thinking about all these intense things that they need to do. But doing the least doesn't mean doing nothing, right? It's just what you can do right now and what's attainable for you right now in this season, in this moment of your life. So a lot of people kick themselves for not getting their workout in. The 35% of people that you talked about that don't get their regular workout in. It's okay because you've been consistent for the prior 9, 10, 11 months. So give yourself a little bit of grace and gratitude on that. And at the same time, like we've got to not even walk before we run. We have to roll over. We have to sit up. We have to take a first step. Momentum isn't something that you're just going to catch. You need to create it. So we need to step forward and create your own momentum in life. So however small that is, the least you can do can get you maximum results.
I love it. Can you guide us with a little bit of health habits that even the busiest person can do and can adopt during the holidays to just stay on track?
Walking after your meals, 10 to 15 minutes, whether that's outside, whether that's in your house, whether that's up and down your steps, that's a prokinetic. That gets your digestive system going, right? So we're able to regulate blood sugar control. That helps absorb nutrients. That helps, sometimes we get a little gassy after we eat. So we want to start that digestive process. You can call them fart walks. 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. And all of a sudden we've got that 30 minutes, 10 plus 10 plus 10, with that 30 minutes of movement that we all need to at least get at a bare minimum in a day. When you're eating, protein first, whether that's vegan source, plant source, or traditional animal source. Protein is satiating, it's filling, it's much harder for that macronutrient to be converted into fat. Our body's going to utilize it, so we need that. So I focus on protein with every single meal. It doesn't need to be a huge steak or a mound of tofu, just a little bit of protein with every meal and have a compilation of all the macronutrients. Yes, carbohydrates. Guess what? Vegetables have carbs in them. Oh my God, we shouldn't be scared of them. These are good things for us. So just have an array of food, but have protein be your mainstay right there. And then whether you're having more fats or more carbohydrates, doesn't matter as long as we're kind of getting towards that protein number. And non-negotiable, we need to drink water. Wow, we'll talk about the easiest biohack in the world. Your body's natural detoxification system. It's very cheap. Get up, drink water. Big glass of water in the morning. Big glass of water with lunch. Big glass of water with dinner. These are very simplistic things that we can do, but putting into practice seem to be hard for people to do because we get stuck in our ways. So if you start doing these things one thing at a time, maybe just a glass of water in the morning, if you normally don't do, as opposed to, oh my God, Joey said I have to have it, 8 glasses of water a day. These are just standards that people set, and I don't really know where they come from because I like to base it off of ounces, per pound, but it doesn't matter. Big glass of water first thing in the morning. If you haven't done it before, that's a small step right there that everybody can do. Don't tell me you don't have time to drink a glass of water.
I love that interesting angle. The glass of water thing, I think is right on point because once I started my fitness journey and I incorporate that, saw a difference. But Joey, what I want to know is how do you encourage people to use mindfulness techniques, not only to cope with the holiday stress, but also maintain emotional well-being during this time?
Yeah, look, we so often live our lives in the past and that dictates our future. So if we look at our past and we think about all these negative things and we're creating these stories and scenarios, even if you look at eyewitness accounts, often they're way off. So we're trying to account our past and we're putting a negative connotation to them. So then if we're having negative connotations to our past all the time, is our future going to be leaning forward? So I think trying to reassess your past and thinking about the positive things in your past will help your future and be excited for the future. Yes, there's going to be stressful things in life and we need to acknowledge that. But just because your past was negative doesn't mean that the future is going to be depressive.
Definitely have to break through from those preconceived ideas, right? Because it's all about mindset. And as we prepare to enter 2025, there's so much buzz around the latest biohacking trends and health trends, and in fact, the global biohacking market is projected to grow by over $50 billion by the year 2027, showing just how much people are in fact investing in optimizing their health. But let's face it, most of us don't have access to, cryotherapy chambers or personal IV drips. So let's going back to your basics. What are the top biohacking trends for 2025 that the average person can incorporate into their daily routine without breaking the bank?
If you live somewhere cold, guess what? Walking outside, you're doing cryotherapy right there, and it's free. Amazing. I mean, I live in Chicago, so gloves and hat before sweater will make you look better. So think about putting on a hat, like covering your ears and your hands, and maybe walking outside, maybe with like a t-shirt on. That'll create that shivering, which is a good thing, which is it increases the metabolic rate. You don't want to stay outside for hours or dive in the snow. Don't do anything crazy like Joey told me to. But you're creating that shivering, so your core temperature has to naturally warm up, which is going to increase that thermogenic burn of the calories. Your body's just trying to keep that core temperature up. So that's simple. And with that, if you could do that in the morning as the sunlight is coming up, free. The sun is free, people. We're getting vitamin D. We're regulating our circadian rhythm. So as early as you can, get out and just walk outside in the sun, preferably not with sunglasses on, so you want to get that periphery, and you want to get the sun into your eyes, and that's just going to regulate their circadian rhythm, because what you do during the day sets up your night, which sets up the next day. Free, right there. And then you just breath work. I mean, people taking calming breaths, like people say, like, take a deep breath when you're stressed, but actually when you take a deep exhale, exhalation is what brings us from sympathetic to parasympathetic, fight or flight, to rest, digest, recover. So yes, you can do all this like box breathing and everything else, which is great. But most of the simplest thing I can give people, the least you can do, is take a deep breath in and take a double exhalation out. That double exhalation automatically creates a calming effect. So whether it's 1, 4, 4, 4, 4, all these different techniques, don't even worry about that. Take a deep breath in and take a longer exhalation. That's a free biohack for you right there, or just like how we should breathe.
So for the beginners out there, I mean, all those things you listed are fantastic. They're simple ways to get started. How do you get that person listening to this that has never done anything to just get up and try one or two of your recommendation?
Yeah, I like to say, let's start laughably small. Literally, right? If you're just sitting on the couch all day long, like you're just trying to get off the couch to the starting line. You're not in the race trying to get the finish line. So at a minimum, 5 push-ups a day. Okay. Oh my God, 5 doesn't seem like a lot. That might be a lot to you because you didn't do it. 10 squats as you're brushing your teeth. Give me 5 lunges, anything like that. At a minimum, start so small it seems ridiculous, because eventually your habit stacking, those habits will go up. So I did 10 squats while I was brushing my teeth. I did 5 push-ups in the morning. I did a 10-second plank. Now all of a sudden 2 weeks later, it's a 20-second plank. If you go at it really hard and you hit that accelerator fast, you're going to run out of gas and be burned out after a couple weeks. By crazy numbers of 90-something% of people, stop their New Year's resolution goals. It's like right in the middle of January. Like it's staggering.
And consistency is key. You just said it. Consistency. Those baby steps. If you're consistent, I don't care what it is that you're trying to accomplish, but consistently working towards that goal gets you to that goal. If you miss the consistency, then you're back to square one. And which brings me back to the holidays, right? We're in a time of reflection and setting goals for the year ahead, but so many people start strong in January only to lose momentum by February, right? 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by the second week of February. So it's all about mindset. So what strategies can you share to help people not only set realistic health goals for 2025, but also stick with them beyond January?
Yeah. So just take a pause and breathe, and just realize that it's not going to be all done in one day. Just because, Bob next door is doing something crazy, or some new biohacking or some new diet, realize that every body, BODY, is completely different. And what you do for you is not the same thing that's going to happen for somebody else. Like you can be motivation for that other person, or use somebody else for motivation, but motivation is going to come from within. Sometimes it's extrinsic, right? Like intrinsic is much better, but extrinsic, like you've got a high school reunion coming up. Focus on that. Schedule a vacation. So you're moving towards this goal, because if we're not moving towards a goal in life, we just become stagnant. And that's what I like people just like setting these goals, and these small victories are non-scale victories. Yes, like you want to think about losing weight, but the weight on a scale fluctuates tremendously. So we need to get away from the scale as much as possible. I'm still a little nutty. I like checking myself every day just because I'm curious. It's interesting. But give yourself that grace, and that your body is completely different. You're not going to parent your same child if you've got kids. And a lot of kids are listening. I've got a 6-year-old wonderful boy. I'm going to parent him differently than the 6-year-old next door. If somebody has 5 children, each child has their own personality, has their own unique behaviors and positive qualities about them. And I don't want to say negative, but some struggles that you have to deal with. So you are completely different, and allow that for yourself, and just allowing that grace will really help you keep moving forward and keep that momentum. So you're creating that momentum, that inertia.
Yeah, I think one of the things that happens especially when people want to pursue their fitness, is that life happens, right? They have an unpredictable event, whether it's, changing job or unfortunately death or whatever. How do you get your clients to stay consistent and motivated and disciplined, even amidst challenges like that that's so unpredictable?
Yeah, I like a gratitude jar. I don't know if you've heard of that, but whether that's because we want to reward ourselves. Why can't we reward ourselves with gratitude in a positive way? So that could be like a little ticket. That could be $1, 50 cents. You could fill it up with whatever you want, right? And give yourself gratitude when you're doing those things, especially when times are tough. Because then you're aware, like, okay, you know what? Normally right now, like I'm upset. I'm frustrated, but I need to stop and think, what's going to make me feel better? For me, and Zen, we've talked about this, I was diagnosed with clinical depression at 14 years old, like suicidal thoughts and everything. And that goes in and out my entire life, no matter if I've got all these positive things happening in life. Because sometimes the more light people have shined on them, the more darkness that they have inside. So just because you see somebody or a neighbor or somebody that thinks to have everything going on perfectly, they're still struggling at some point. So create that gratitude jar, and then give yourself a goal or a reward. I prefer it not to be food. Like, oh, I stayed on my diet for 4 weeks, and then, I maintained it, and then all of a sudden you're going to go off the rails for several days. Often that's a slippery slope. So that gratitude jar, once that's filled up, whether it's money, you buy yourself a pair of shoes, a purse, or anything like that, a new phone, whatever it is, filling that gratitude jar with things besides exercise is spectacular. Normally I would have got really frustrated with my spouse, my significant other, my child. But I decided to take a step away, take that deep breath in and that deep exhalation. Okay, so that I'll give myself gratitude. That's positive right there. So that we're moving forward. We're ever forward as much as possible. I hate the quote of like, let's get 1% better every day. That makes no sense. I mean, I'm not that great at math, but 1% every single day past 101 days, we can't go past 100%. Like we always look at these social media posts, like 1% better every day. Some days just suck. They do. Some days you don't want to get up and you're struggling, and people are like, oh, you're going to feel better. It'll be okay. You know what? Sometimes that makes it worse. Some days you just have to embrace the suck, embrace the stress, right?
I like that. Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to prioritize everything else, right? Family, work, gifts over our own mental health and emotional health. But the best gift, you just said it, that we can give to ourselves and others is a healthy and happy version of ourselves. So when we talk about advice for redefining self-care during the holiday season, especially for people who feel guilty taking time for themselves, I think I just had a revelation. I'm that person. I feel guilty taking time for myself, but you just said it. If that guilt is consuming me, then take it one day at a time, take that deep breath and go out there and dip into the gratitude jar to remind ourselves that even if we're overachievers and the world around us is looking to us for this advice, sometimes it could be overwhelming. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for also sharing a very deep personal story about your mental health. That means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as a stereotypical meathead, straight white boy, like we don't talk about this enough. Like literally, it doesn't. And I'm glad that mental health is like getting more out there. But a lot of times people will see, I mean, I've worked with these, A-list actors, and I can mention the names, but like they're all struggling too, right? Because not only if they have a bad day, they go outside and they're having somebody like paparazzi take a picture of them, or somebody runs up to them at a restaurant, and of course you're going to have a bad day, and every now and then you're getting frustrated. Well, that's what they signed up for, but nobody signs up for like, getting hounded the whole time. Maybe that's what their craft, their career. Dr. Daisy, like if I talk to you like, oh, hey, can you check this out right now? What's this? What's like all the time? I'm sure you get that. Like, do you really want to be on all the time, like in the office all the time? Sometimes you probably don't even say you're a doctor. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up. But like, when people ask what I do sometimes when I'm on a plane or whatever, like, oh, consultant. Because that's just goofy. Because I say fitness, I say nutrition. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is like, is that good? I'm like, it's great. Cool. Sometimes you just want to check out. Sometimes you just want to be with yourself. And that is absolutely okay. So I'm aware of myself when I'm in that bad mood, or like maybe I put on headphones, even if they're dead, and I put on a hat and I put it low. Like, it's not being rude. It's just being aware of yourself and giving yourself that grace to be within yourself, kind of the art of doing nothing. I've talked about that before. Just sit within your own thoughts and just turn out the lights or lay down for 5 minutes and just think. And guess what? You just meditated. Meditation is spectacular. You don't need to like sit there on the top of a mountain and go and figure this stuff out, but just aware of every emotion that you have, whether it's love for yourself, whether it's hate for yourself at the moment. Just embrace it and be aware of it. And when we're raising our children, if we can make them aware of their emotions and how to handle it and not be ashamed of what they're feeling, then they'll be much better humans, and hopefully we'll be better off. When my son gets upset, and if he wants to like throw things and whatever, like, okay, you go in the corner, like you scream, you yell, you get it out, but like it's not okay to do X, right? But we're aware that you need your time right now. You need your space, and let's treat ourselves that way too.
One of the things you mentioned about a reward system that I love and I wanted to hound on is, instead of chasing pounds, body composition, anyone listening to this, you want to look at the totality when you're working out. You want to look at your muscle mass growth. You want to look at your fat reduction. That you want to look at, obviously, the pounds, but, the other parts of it that will make you feel good. Your pound might be getting higher, but your muscle mass is getting higher and your fat is going down. So looking at the totality is a great way to feel rewarded. Joey, what I wanted to ask you is, what is the one simple tradition or ritual you recommend for fostering mindfulness and gratitude during the holiday season?
Oh, man, there's so many, but I think, everybody wants to think about their why. But what's the how to get to the why? It's amazing that's maybe your why is your son, your husband, your family. That's spectacular, but how are you getting to that point in life, and how are you grateful for them? Why are you grateful for your why? I think that, and stopping and taking a look at that and kind of assessing your life, kind of like your day, like a movie trailer. Like, look back and look at the highlights. What's good, or silver lining, whatever phrase you want to put to it. The how to the why is spectacular. It's like, love my wife, but how did I get to that point? Right? So then all of a sudden you start thinking about, when I met her, and this is what happened. This is how I felt. Because that reflection towards the why, I think, often grounds us more. When we get really excited in life and we accomplish X, we're always looking for the next thing, right? You work so hard, maybe to be board certified, right, Dr. Jay-Z, and then all of a sudden, like, you get that. Now what's next? Now I need to get my business going. Did you sit and write that down? Like, what it took to get to that why, and how amazing you are for getting to that, right?
So the theme of this podcast is ambition meets empowerment. And Joey, I want to know, what is the one thing or the one bold step you've taken in your life to put you where you are today?
I think others around me, and talking to them about every way I'm feeling, because it's easy to be there for someone when things are bad. But when I wake up, and we obviously touched on this, when I wake up and I feel depressed, or let's say it's suicidal, I will talk to my wife. Here's how I'm feeling today. It's one of those days. So then she knows that maybe she needs to give me a little bit more space, because she's not going to fix me. She's not going to fix that by any means, but she's more aware of how I'm feeling. So she's able to give me that grace. And same thing with everybody else around me, because by me letting her know, or, Zen, letting you know, or anybody listening right now, right there, all of a sudden you're more connected to me. And then you put yourself in my shoes, no matter if you don't know what depression feels like or whatever that may be. So surrounding yourself with that community, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to maintain a healthy adult. So find those people around you, whether that's listening to a podcast or husband, wife, anything like that. And I think being honest with them on how you're feeling will allow them to be honest with you on how they're feeling too.
Wow. Well, your vulnerability is so empowering, if that makes sense. I love that. I love that we've stayed and we've maintained having you on the show year after year. And I love the mental growth that your journey has taken you on, because every time I interview you, I get a different Joey, which I love because it's a more evolved Joey, whether you see it or not. I do. So thank you for sharing your invaluable insights on how to end the year strong and start 2025 on the right foot, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you.
Pick up Joey's book, The Minimum Method, and start making small, impactful changes today. Do check out bigbabystyle.com, where they make adult tees inspired by kids' clothing. And definitely follow Joey on the gram at Joey Thurman Fit. Stay tuned for more tips, trends, and expert advice on polished beauty. And until next time, stay polished, stay beautiful, and stay healthy. Do follow Dr. Daisy Ayim on the gram at Dr. Daisy Ayim. And you can head to polishedbeautypodcast.com for more episodes and more insights. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series. Today we're featuring Dr. Rod Rohrich. He's an internationally known, highly skilled and respected plastic surgeon with a global clinical practice at Dallas Plastic Surgery Institute in Dallas, Texas. With Newsweek naming him the best plastic surgeon in the U.S. for both rhinoplasty and facelift for 4 consecutive years, there's no doubt that he's an expert at what he does. Dr. Rohrich also serves as clinical professor of plastic surgery at the Baylor College of Medicine and is chair of the Dallas Rhinoplasty Meeting and founding chair of the Dallas Cosmetic Surgery and Medicine Meeting. Today, he's going to join me to discuss the latest in rhinoplasty and facelift techniques and how CO2 Lift is improving procedure results and speeding up the healing process. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Dr. Rod Rohrich. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thanks so much. So it's an honor to be here.
So excited to have you join our show. You have been honored by your peers as one of the most influential physicians and plastic surgeons in the century. Dear Lord, which is incredibly telling of your skill and dedication to your craft. So honored to have you on this show. And you are regarded as an expert specifically in both rhinoplasty and facelift procedures. Now, I would love to know what inspired you to enter this field and specialize in these procedures.
I'm board certified in plastic surgery. I've always had an interest in art and science. And of course, the most challenging procedures in all of plastic surgery are rhinoplasty and facial rejuvenation. So I really developed an interest in the science of aging and how we age and how we can restore people in a natural way both for facial rejuvenation and for rhinoplasty. Because in this era of social media, the sign of excellent plastic surgery is something you can't detect. So that's both for rhinoplasty and for facelifts. And as you can see in social media, sometimes that doesn't always come true.
So very true what you're saying. And you're also an expert in the science of aging. And through your innovative work, you pioneered the lift and fill facelift. Now, not all faces are the same, so it only makes sense that not all facelifts should be performed the same way. So your facelift techniques are highly regarded for delivering natural results. So how do you approach tailoring this procedure to each patient's individual needs, and how does your lift and fill technique, so to speak, contribute to a more youthful and yet still very natural appearance?
Well, when you look at the science of aging, of how we age, we lose fat in our central face first. In our temple area, we get hollowing. So it's only natural that we restore it in a similar manner. So the lift and fill deep layer facelift fills the central part of the face with fat, your own fat, which is the best filler. And then you lift the deep layer. So you're lifting and filling. And everybody has to be customized because everybody's face is asymmetric. You look at anybody who's famous, you have a big eye and a small eye. So the goal is to restore and shape and symmetry and to do it in a natural way. Because after all, as plastic surgeons, we're committed to face protection, not witness protection. So we've got to make sure that we all look great, but not look weird.
I love what you just said. Now, a facelift is certainly not an easy procedure to recover from, but in fact, there are things you can do to make it easier, right? So let's bring CO2 lift into the picture here. CO2 lift is non-invasive, clinically proven, medical grade carbon gel that not only offers monotherapy benefits, but without a doubt can significantly improve a patient's results and comfort post procedures. Now, doctor, how do you incorporate CO2 lift into your practice? And have you noticed measurable differences in recovery times or outcomes when patients implement it post procedure?
Absolutely. You know, the CO2 is really based in science. It's a CO2 gel that actually is based upon true science of the Bohr effect, which basically, when you put CO2 into the face and displace it, you actually get oxygenation, which is like a mini hyperbaric treatment. So it has truly been a game changer in pre-op as well as post-op facial wound healing, because so many people are now doing hyperbaric chambers, but obviously this is a shortcut to that. You can put on these masks daily for 3 to 5 days, and it's dramatic how it enhances wound healing, diminishes bruising, and my patients even use it like before they go out on a date at night, or they go, because it just soothes the face, and it just brings out, it hyperoxygenates the face. So it's based in science, it works well, and anything to speed up recovery is something that is truly welcomed by not only our patients, but really by all plastic surgeons.
You're such a pioneer in what you do. Thank you so much for contributing tonight to our show. Now, let's shift to rhinoplasty. You're a top rated expert in rhinoplasty, which is especially impressive considering rhinoplasty is one of the most difficult procedures in plastic surgery to achieve consistently good results, right? So, as an expert, what new technologies or techniques have you implemented in regard to rhinoplasty, and what does the process look like? I mean, how do you help your patients manage post-surgical care?
I think the biggest change in rhinoplasty has been the ability to preserve tissue, not just remove it. So it's not only preservation, but it's structural restoration of the nose, and really doing it in a meticulous way. And I've developed a method that's very consistent and systematic so that people can get reproducible, great results, even though it's the most challenging procedure in all of plastic surgery. So I've taught over 15,000 plastic surgeons and otolaryngologists the art and science of rhinoplasty. So it's really been a game changer to do a very systematic approach to this very challenging procedure. And the way we've enhanced recovery is not only meticulous technique, but also enhanced recovery with the CO2 mask. And also we use light therapy as well. So the recovery is about a week or 10 days. You know, you can be in makeup in a week or 10 days, back working out in 3 to 4 weeks, but it does take about 12 months to see the final result. But many times people can be photo ready in 10 to 12 days. and look great. And again, the sign of a great rhinoplasty, just like a great facelift, is that it looks natural. It doesn't look like, oh my goodness, you had a rhinoplasty. The key is looking great on your face. So every nose has to be customized to the patient's facial features. You can't just say, I'm going to pick out Angelina Jolie's nose, because her nose looks great on her. It doesn't look good on somebody with a longer face or with a thicker face.
Mathematical proportions. It all comes down to the proper balance, and you have that
Right.
eye for that. You're in your own very way. You're an artist, a Picasso, if you will, and that face is extremely critical when you're
Right.
evaluating. And I love that you take a very, very thorough approach to evaluation, which is critical. You don't just say, hey, you want to look like this celebrity, I will give you that nose. In fact, what you just said speaks volumes, that everyone has a different aesthetic. Now, I've heard many of your peers compare, and I'm going to pivot back to what you said, CO2 lift to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, which makes sense as both therapies utilize oxygen in their respective processes. Now, I think it goes without saying that using a non-invasive gel mask that can be applied, that could be actually applied in office or even at home, is significantly easier than resorting to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So, how do you see innovations like CO2 lift mask influencing the future of post-surgical care in plastic surgery?
Well, I think the CO2 mask is really one of the key game changers in decreasing recovery, enhancing outcomes, and it goes in a long way, because so many of my patients come in around from around the world. So they want to get in, have the procedure, and then spend 7 days in Dallas, and then this will smooth their recovery so they can go home, put makeup on. So anything that can do that, and certainly you're right. Hyperbaric oxygen is a bit more cumbersome. It's obviously more costly than a CO2 mask. And these are masks you can apply by yourself. You put it on for 45 minutes, and you just peel it off, and
Right.
it's refreshing. So it's a true game changer.
There's something so proprietary in simplicity, right? Now, aside from your accomplishments in your practice, you're also an educator serving as a clinical professor, chairing some of the most prestigious plastic surgery organizations in the country, and authoring 1,000 academic peer reviewed publications and 8 textbooks. Just wow. Why do you believe education is crucial in the field of plastic surgery for both students and practicing health professionals, especially in an era of such rapid advancements?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. There's so many rapid advancements in plastic surgery. I always tell my fellows and residents, that people I teach, that if you're doing 50% of the things that I've taught you today, you're outdated, because change is constant. Change is just part of life, and it's certainly part of medicine. The transformational things that have happened in medicine and anything in our environment today, with the explosion of the information technology, has been unbelievable. So you have to stay at the cutting and bleeding edge of that technology. And you do that by being part of it, by changing, by always asking why. Well, how can I do this better? And also being part of that cutting edge. Since I do cutting edge research, I do FDA trials. I am at the cutting edge of what people will see in 3 to 5 years in cosmetic surgery and in rhinoplasty. And that's a good place, because I can sort out what's safe and what works and what doesn't.
That's a great place to be at, Dr. Rod. And more importantly, you are not only a trailblazer, but an innovator at the forefront of these technologies and these innovations. And I truly love that education is a huge proponent of what you do. It's absolutely critical. Now, how do you personally stay up to date on like the latest techniques and technologies like CO2 lift? What's your source?
Well, my source is, it's the world, because I travel. Like this year, I traveled to 4 different continents. I gave 50 lectures. I've lectured and operated in India and all over Europe. So basically, I stay by keeping my eyes open and listening, because you hear, when you listen, you actually learn more than you speak. So it is amazing the things that are happening around the world today that actually can be applied to plastic surgery, and the CO2 lift is one of them. So, and I read voraciously. I read 5 medical plastic surgery journals every month, and I'm past editor of our journal, the Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery Journal, which was the largest and most respected journal in the world. So I'm used to reading multiple articles every day. I'm a speed reader, and I'm also part of what we do is you've got to give back. So if you want to really learn at a rapid pace and you want to be able to sort out what's safe and what's not, you've got to be able to ingest a lot of knowledge and then sort out what's safe and what's not for our patients.
Wow, you are such a trailblazer and more importantly, a game changer. And I love your philosophy and your outlook on life, on education, on interaction, on really truly pioneering the next generation of plastic surgeons. I mean, truly being in all of these continents and speaking amongst all of these incredible individuals and being a KOL, that is without a doubt a huge accomplishment, and it goes with notice. It doesn't go without notice. So I want to thank you without a doubt for joining us tonight and really giving us such depth and perspective into a field that quite often there's so much misinformation surrounding. So thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure. Remember to be passionate, be purpose driven, and always persevere. Thank you so much.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, and that was Dr. Rod Rohrich, top-rated plastic surgeon, rhinoplasty, and facelift expert with a global clinical practice at Dallas Plastic Surgery Institute in Dallas, Texas. Definitely head to his website, drrohrich.com, to learn more and check him out on the gram at rod.rohrich. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
The Kelly Williams Show is brought to you by Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events. Tune in and turn on your happy. Kelly Williams is full of energy and incredible guests. Watch her anytime, free programming on Your Home TV network, and do follow her on social media for a chance to win monthly prizes. Check out The Kelly Williams Show on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to A Moment of Zen. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll be back next week.